Good morning, everyone. My name is Guillaume Dessez. I'm the head of the Department of Risk Assessment Production here at EFSA. And I'm here because, unfortunately, our executive director, Bernard Gourl, was not able to come in person this morning, so he apologizes for this. But I'm very happy to be here instead of him to welcome you to this 7th edition of the Parma Summer School, which is organized this year together with the University of Parma, the School of Advanced Studies on Food and Nutrition of the University of Parma, and the Catholic University Sacro Cuore of Piacenza. And two colleagues from those institutions will be also saying a few words in a minute. The topic we have selected for this school this year is the risk assessment of regulated product. And that was a good choice, apparently. The interest was overwhelming. We had over 700 registration from 60 different countries. And in the end, despite virtualization, which enables us to make the event very wide and very international, we still had to limit a little bit, but we have 300 attendees for the school from over 40 countries. So we are very happy that every year the Parma School is getting a wider audience and reaching further and further through more and more countries. During those 3 days in the agenda, we have prepared an agenda on food safety issues, both from a perspective of risk management and the perspective of risk assessment. We have divided the program in 3 chapters. First, the risk assessment and the risk management of regulated product in the European Union, so the overall view, the framework. Then we focus on the risk assessment approaches of regulated products at EFSA. And in a third and final part, we have the risk assessment seen as an interface between the area of consumer safety and the area of innovation in food products. Regulated products, it's a very wide field. As you know, there is a great variety of regulated products. So we decided to make things manageable, to focus on 3 specific categories. And we will be talking about food enzymes, about health claims, and about food contact materials. In regulated products in general, but specifically in these 3 categories, the European Commission and EFSA have the main role in the general procedure for processing application of regulated products. And this is reflected in the program with many speakers from those 2 organizations who will be taking the floor in the next few days. In the presentation, you will see we put really important on having clarity on the legislative framework in which this risk assessment, this risk management is taking place. And that will be presented by colleagues from the European Commission. And we will also put the highlight on the recent legislative changes that are affecting EFSA, the European Commission, but more generally, I think, the field of food safety. And one very important change recently was the so-called transparency regulation, and we will be talking about this, how this new regulation about 18 months ago is changing the aspect of transparency in the process of risk assessment, but also the sustainability of the operation of EFSA and its governance, as well as the communication in the wider area of risk assessment, risk management. Also, other important changes happening is in the context of the European Commission Green Deal, it's the European Union Chemical Strategy for Sustainability. In particular, one action under this chemical strategy, which is the one substance, one assessment, which is an area where EFSA and ECHA have been very active and are still active to implement. And with colleagues from ECHA, we will be also presenting these new legislative changes that are in preparation. So we will have a speaker in from all these different organizations I mentioned, plus from many institutions with whom EFSA and the European Commission are partnering in this big endeavor of ensuring food safety in the European Union. So the last part of the school, in the last day, will be dedicated to learning how the work is done in an internal context and how we bridge towards also innovation and science and other regulatory framework. Here we will have even a wider array of speakers calling from speakers from the private sector and from the representative of consumers. So, as you can see, we will have really the prominent expert in the field of risk assessment and risk management. They have all been enrolled to speak to you in the coming days. We hope that this edition of the Parma Summer School will be an opportunity for you to learn a lot, to acquire knowledge, and also we hope you will have questions, that you make it interactive event, and that with all this knowledge, we hope that perhaps one day in the future you will also be interested in sharing your knowledge, your competencies, and cooperate with us at EFSA. So we would be very interested to, if we could bring that to your mind, that cooperating with EFSA is a good idea. So that's also one of the hidden agenda here. And there are many, many different ways to cooperate with EFSA, and we would be happy to tell you more about this separately. If you have any questions, we would be very happy to explain that to you. So with all of this, I hope a very interesting and learning experience for all of you. And I give the floor to my colleagues from the two partner organizations. First to Professor Del Rio. Daniele, the floor is yours.
Thank you, thank you, Guillaume. Merci, and welcome everybody. I don't know if you feel the vibe, but even if you're sitting in your home, in your room, or in any other place close to your home, you're actually now, for this 2.5 days, you will be spending some time in Parma. Parma is becoming every day more the center for research and innovation in the field of food science from a 360 degrees viewpoint. Also, thanks to the presence of EFSA here, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for EFSA, and also for the great collaboration that we have with the Catholic University, and in particular the headquarters in Piacenza. And you will hear from Professor Cocconcelli in a minute. So I'm really proud that we keep organizing this school together with these two great institutions. I've just heard that this is the 7th edition. The last 3 I've been involved in. They've been great. I remember the first one as a head of school. It was in presence, so the feeling was a little different. But Guillaume is right. We can reach more people. We can reach more of you if we keep doing this in this online version. Everybody's very busy. The pandemic has changed most of the ways we are traveling and going to courses like this one. Another point I want to raise is that the hidden agenda is also for the University of Parma, if you allow me, Guillaume, because we are becoming really an interesting center for research and development in food science. You're also welcome to cooperate with us. So follow the website of the University, of the School of Advanced Studies, of our food project at the university, and look for potential interesting positions, both in terms of teaching, but also in terms of third level learning, like PhD positions or even postdocs research opportunities. We really want to become more international, which is a big thing for an Italian university. So beside also having to acknowledge and thank the organizing committee and the scientific committee, because of course we're here, acknowledging the course and welcoming you all, but the hard work has been performed and carried out by the organizing committee. Most of the organizing committee you will see during the presentations as chairmen and chairwomen of your sessions. Some of them are not present, but they worked hard to make the whole course possible, and I would love to thank them all. Like I would like to thank you for attending this. I don't know if this is the first time for you or you've also attended one of the past editions. It doesn't matter. I'm sure you will tell your friends and colleagues that this is a great course and that they will have to try and apply to participate to one of the next editions. So without further ado, I'll leave the floor to Professor Cocconcelli from the Catholic University.
Thank you very much, Daniele. I would like, on behalf of Università Cattolica del Sacro Cuore, to welcome all the students attending this 2022 EFSA, University of Parma, and Università Cattolica del Sacro Cuore Summer School. This 7th edition is focusing on regulated products. We have heard that regulated products are, and we know that regulated products are fundamental for the consumer safety. A number of this category is pretty wide and covers products, agents that are used in all the steps of the food chain in agriculture, such as pesticides, plant protection products, animals, for instance, feed additives, and food. In food, we use food additives, food content material, food enzymes, health claims. So there are a number of products that before being introduced on the market should be assessed for their safety. And this is the topic of the summer school of today, focusing only on the last section of the food system, so the production of food. The risk assessment of these products require a real multidisciplinary approach. It is needed to have in the same group different competencies. And actually, looking at your competencies as a PhD student or postdoc, we cover almost all the necessary disciplines that are required to perform an appropriate risk assessment of regulated products. This is a competence building activity. Summer schools are designed to provide you some of the necessary, or to introduce you to the necessary competencies for assessing risk assessment, and discover actually 3 different areas. Science. Most of you are young scientists, and you should know that science is the real basis of any kind of risk assessment. Scientific data, whether are produced by open science or produced as part of the dossier of a company, are the key step to perform an appropriate risk assessment. Without scientific information, we cannot do nothing. Second is research and development. Regulated products are strictly connected with innovation in the food system, and Europe should be a very innovative geographical and political area, in particular in the food production. And so for people working already or expected to work on companies, it is important to know how is the process of assessment, because it's the requirement to provide good data which are still necessary for the assessment. And third part is what is called regulatory science, so what we are doing in EFSA. This is a key point because there is a clear need for a new generation of scientists that can think to invest some of their time together with the typical scientific activity in working with institutions. So providing this type of assessment, an evidence-based approach to evaluate and to assess all of these products. So I think this could be a very good opportunity for you to be introduced in this sector and to create a network of young scientists working in the food sciences and in sciences that cover all the food system. I would like to conclude thanking the EFSA team that really work hard in this process, and all the speakers that spend part of their time. Most of them are real experts of this sector, probably all of them are real experts of this sector, that made this event possible. Thank you very much.